Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, March the 8th. Hey, we got our usual crew. We've got Tom, Lee, Tracy, and Gentry going to check in, talk about all the lakes in our area. We will be right back with what the guys have to say. But, folks, hey, Fish Fest is coming near March 29th. Come on over here and see the pros, the seminars, get the raffle prizes. We're going to feed you good with some Falcon wings and some Skeeter beans. We're going to have the Bass Cat beverage bar, and then we're going to figure out something for Icon boats as well. And then on the 28th, 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the afternoon, come see us at Southside Landing for boat demos in all of our bass boat brands. We're going to take you out there and let you know what these boats do. We'll be right back with what the guys have to say. Hey, we're joined by our good friend, the star, the man with the big bags. We're talking Lee Pitts. Lee, we're going to talk Weiss Lake and Neely Henry. What's going on Weiss Lake right now?
It's been another one of those weeks that we've had to kind of batten the hatches down a little bit. Had some strong winds on our ponds this week. The fluctuation of water is what has been determining whether we're going to get bit or not. Starting with Weiss, we really fluctuated that water this last week. It's been up, it's been down, it's been coming back up and then back down again, but still catching a few fish. It's just like one of the things we had this week. This last week at a little river had about a 40 boat tournament, a 2-day deal out of it. And you could see it as the weights came in. It's if you landed on the fish and you found a good wad of fish, you were going to catch them. Some of the guys did, some didn't. The top 5 places the first day were 17 to 21 pounds. That's a good catch anywhere. Sunday, all of a sudden, it stayed the same through that. It took 42 pounds to win for a 2-day event here this last week at Weiss. That's not saying that everybody caught them. Once you found the fish, the way this water has been, they're congregated, they're all together. You're looking for your eddy spots, you're looking for your harder bottoms, places that they can get tucked in out of some of that current that we've sucked down all week long. And that's what it's took. I think the square bill was a good bite this last week, and through the week so far, it's been hit or miss. A spinnerbait's coming into play a little bit with the wind that we've had, finding some of those wind-blown points and the rockier bottoms on that. A blade's been pretty good. It's just been trying to find where these fish are holding up. They're not everywhere. It's the guys that are just bouncing around and looking and happen to hit that good wad right now.
What are we seeing out of Neely Henry? What's going on there?
Neely, it being more of a river system, you're looking for some of these places that you can get a break out of that current. Um, the shaky head worm's been pretty good there. It's something that you can kind of slow down. The biggest thing is our weather has lay up, and that's where you just got to hit and move, keep on moving around till you find some fish. Once you find them, there's a lot of fish wadded up. It's just you got to slow down. I'm saying this, I'm contradicting myself. You got to slow down once you find them and start picking on them. But if you sit there and you're fishing a place 10, 15 minutes not getting bit, it's time to crank that mercury up and burn some gas. So
So,
it's just one of those things that you got to move, you got to keep, and once you find them, sit there and beat on them.
what kind of water temperatures are we seeing real quickly between on the two bodies of water? What are you seeing? Are we in the 50s yet? Or are we
Mid
still in the
mid
40s?
mid low 50s, mid low 50s right now. And I think that wind's had that churned up, so it's not warming up like it needs to be.
Brother, we appreciate everything. We'll talk to you again next week, my friend. Hey, we got Tracy Robinson going to join us. We're talking a little bit of that middle Coosa River fishing. Logan Martin and Lay Lake. Tracy, pick your poison. Where you want to start today?
We'll start at Logan, and then I've got tons of information on Logan this week too. But just because you got the Coosa River team trail rolling in down there this weekend, so everybody I talk to, that's what they want to talk about is Logan Martin. So everybody I talk to, and my personal experience, there's a lot of different things going on there right now. With the weather, it's kind of messed some water up here and there, but there's streaks of muddy water. There's some creeks that are cleaning up quicker than others, based on just the way the current flows on Logan Martin. So finding some respectable water. Doesn't have to be clean, but something that's got a little bit of visibility, some 6 inch visibility at a minimum, is a big piece of the puzzle right now. But the river bars, if you can find some river bars that have some decent color water on it, that's the best bet right now. Your swim baits, your Alabama rig, your crank baits. You can slow down with a jig, but you don't, or a worm or a shaky head, but you don't have to right now. Keep moving. Find the river bar that's got some fish tucked on it, either in the eddy or just because they like that particular river bar. But that's the main deal going on at Logan right now. Water is obviously still way down, but those fish are still out there at the river.
So assuming with the amount of current you're going, lee side, or are you getting on the upstream side, or you having to look at both?
And that's why I mentioned a little bit of, find something they like, because I can't find a rhyme or reason based on my experience or the guys I'm talking to. It's not the eddy all the time. Sometimes they're dead up on top of it in the worst currents you can imagine, but that's just where they like that day. So you got to keep moving and find them. And I was, listening to Lee's report, and Lee kind of same thing over at Weiss, but keep moving, fish fast, fast, fast until you find them. Once you find them, slow down and pick it apart and catch all you can off of it's kind of the key.
All right, let's turn to Lay Lake. What are we finding up there?
Lay not as impacted as much, by all the rains and currents. Water typically is cleared anyway on that lake, but the creek's cleaned up really quick. Got plenty of water in the lake. Um, Water temperature still in that mid 50s, low to mid 50s. I'm gonna say 52 to 54 right now. You can get that swim jig bite up in the grass. There's just not a ton of fish up there yet, but those fish are wanting to get up there right now, and they're kind of just staring at those shallows right now. So, the little guts going into your ditches and pockets out in the middles, not all the way to the back, but at least kind of, I'm gonna say 3/4 the way back. Keep your live scope on, kind of watching around. If you don't have the live scope, you can blind cast, your shad wraps or whatever on the rocks and the gut right going right into the back, or a rig. So you don't have to have the forward facing, but the fish are heading there right now. Any creek, any ditch, any pockets you go in right now, their nose is headed towards the back. So just kind of slowly pick it apart, the points, the gut, and then even some docks. Caught a few fish on chatterbait around some of the docks in some of these creeks, but that's where the fish are heading. So focus on where they're going to be in 2 weeks from now during the spawn, and you'll start catching some fish at Lay right now.
Yeah, and I know the crappie bite overall is a little hit or miss right now because all the current and everything going through, they're not quite settled. Anyway, brother, we appreciate everything and we will talk to you soon. Hey, we got Tom Ott. We're going to talk a little bit of Guntersville fishing. Seems like last week when we talked, the water temperature was about icicle. I don't know if it's warmed up a little bit now with the rains coming through. Tom, what's going on the big lake?
Well, the water temperature, thankfully, has definitely increased. I mean, the air temp, the wind, that stuff's been going on all week, and it just makes it a little tough in the morning. As the day goes on, the bite seems to get better. But you know, what I'm finding is a lot of these fish, they're just doing their thing. They're doing exactly what they want to do. I think that the fishermen are probably more bothered by the wind, the temperature, mud, grass, things like that versus the fish. Obviously the floating grass is going to keep you from getting into some areas, but the fish have really started to move up. I mean, it seems, I mean, it could probably change a little bit, with just all the cooler temperatures, but I don't think it's going to change a whole lot. But that 2 to 4 foot bite has been really strong. I think there's a lot of big fish that have moved up. There's going to be more and more waves moving. I mean, we've got until April full moon probably before the majority of the spawn is over. So it's just going to be Katie bar the door from now until that particular time. Just talking, with some of my folks, you do got to move some. You're going to find some fish in wads. It's typical trap, chatterbait kind of fishing where you run across a few, you're going to catch 4 or 5, and then you're just going to go through a dry spell. That just seems to be the way it is. It's kind of hard on Guntersville with the pressure we get to just sit in one spot, catch a ton of fish, and then and call it a day and go. That's just changed a little bit over the years with the number of boats we got out there. But you guys just keep moving. Like I said, pick up that trap. Red shad pattern's been good, but I think that's going to be dictated by the watercolor somewhat. Of course, the A rig, if you get some decently clear water, that can catch some good fish right now as well. But I think really your moving baits that are going to be causing a little bit of chatter in the water. Even a fritz side, something, something flat, square bill, anything like that is going to catch you some fish right now.
What about crappie? We got about 25, 30 seconds left. What's going on in the crappie world?
The crappie are definitely starting to move up in those shallower areas as well. They're doing the same thing the bass are doing. It's time to get out there. I mean, get a little bit more warm weather and it'll be fun to catch crappie again. Not so cold, but they're definitely getting up in that 6, 8, 4 foot water. So look for those big pre-spawners to be roaming around right now.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Tom, we appreciate everything. We'll talk to you again next week, my friend. Hey, we got our man Gentry Gordy going to join us. We're going to talk a little bit of fishing down there in lower Alabama, talking Lake Martin and Jordan Lake. Hey, let's start at Jordan real quick. What's happening there, Gentry?
Dano, with the way the weather is, it warmed up, then it's cooled off, and then, it's so, to me, not a lot's changed. There's still, to me, your largemouth bites, some of your bigger spots are still going to be, mid creek, kind of like they're just staging. They're right there on the verge, and then the cold weather kind of pushed them back. So I still think they're, mid to back way in some of these pockets. Still looking at they'll pull off and hold on the dock pilings, brush piles and your grass bite. But me personally, I'm looking halfway back in some of these bigger creeks and stuff. Your spotted bass, we say it all the time. They're still up the river. They're pulling some water. Find your channel swings and your eddies.
Well, that covers the bass bite. What are you hearing about crappie on Jordan Lake?
I haven't heard a whole lot, Dano. But just what I know and what I see, it's still the docks and the trash piles in that 10-foot range. Is of course, it gets a little bit warmer. It won't take them but a day or two, and they'll start getting on further back. But right now, I think they're just holding right over those trash piles and stuff.
Sounds good. All right, let's turn our attention to Lake Martin. I know it's a clearer water lake, but there is water going through the systems, so it's got to be affecting it somewhat, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, there's still. I mean, it got so blown out a couple weeks ago. It's still got some good color to it, but that helps Martin, in my opinion. If you want to do the forward-facing sonar, Blue Creek, Kalija, on a little bit into Kalija, still got some real clear water. But everywhere else just got a good stain. I mean, it's the time. It's red crankbait, flat-sided square bills, and all the back of them little cuts. And if you can find a blowdown or a trash pile in them, it's just that much better.
Yeah, that always makes for fun fishing when you can cover water and just kind of hit obstructions with a moving bait and get that reaction bite out of them. Is it one you're going to have to stay with tight wiggle and kind of keep it subtle?
Yeah, right now it is. That water just hadn't got warm enough. So it's your flat-sided or like the Rapala, the Shad Rap 5 and 7. Something with a tight wobble to them is going to be key right now.
Yep, that sounds like it might be that odd kind of transitional winter to spring bite that's going on. And I know the water temperature is not quite warmed up with our cold weather yet. Gentry, brother, we appreciate everything and we thank you for the time, and we'll talk to you soon. Well, that'll wrap up our Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, March the 8th. Thanks for spending the time with us like you do every week. And don't forget, that season's right around the corner. The sales team's here. When you're looking for that special new boat to take your family out, whether you're going to go cruising or fishing, we got what you're looking for. If you want to keep your boat running, see everybody in the parts department and the service department down there. And of course, if you're looking for that tackle or clothing item, come see us in the loft upstairs. Thanks for spending the time with us today, and we will talk to you again soon.